Welcome to Donmar TV News Channel.
There is one more reaction, sir, that I wanted to bring in. UP journalism professor Danilo Ara was saying, he put out this challenge on his Twitter account. UP faculty and alumni who are Duterte's top-level officials should denounce Lorenzana's letter terminating the 1989 Accord. This disregards everything UP stands for. Should they remain silent? A six-word question. Where is your honor and excellence? So let me ask you, sir, are you denouncing this letter by Secretary Lorenzana as a UP student and as a former UP professor? Are you denouncing it?
I'm asking the DND secretary and the president of UP to sit down, and I have offered my good offices to facilitate this meeting.
But the word is denouncer. Dinedenounce niyo ho ba ito? We're not speaking as a presidential spokesperson.
I'm also a presidential spokesperson. Well, there's really no such thing, when you are a presidential spokesperson. All I'm saying is, let's talk about this. I support the steps of the UP president, and let's see why a 30-year-old accord should not be continued when it has worked apparently perfectly well in the past 30 years.
So that doesn't make you silent on the issue because you're actually taking a stand.
And I'm not duty-bound to follow anything that Professor Arao says.
All right, presidential.
I'm more academic than him.
I still need to do a follow-up on this because now the Duterte Youth Party List is seeking or asking that kung ano po yung ginawa sa UP, ayun din yung gawin sa PUP. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that, sir.
Well, it's a free country. If that is the thought of the Duterte youth, so be it. And that's something that the presidential spokesperson does not have to be involved with, no? But, Pinky, I have to highlight the fact that I think the question on Arao was unfair. In the first place, why am I duty-bound to follow anything that Professor Arao says? Mm-hmm. You made it appear as if it's compulsory for me to follow him. I spent more time in UP than him.
Okay.
And I think, as I said, I even have, I'm even a more senior academic than him. No? So it was not a fair question. I'm not duty-bound to follow anything that Danny Arao says.
Right.
And should not be.
Don't
say thoughts, no?
Spokes, don't get me wrong. I wasn't saying you're duty-bound.
No, you were wrong. You were implying as if I had to follow what Danny Arao says. Well, what is the basis for that?
It was a tweet, sir. It was a tweet, Spokes, and then it just said
but you said I had to follow him, and if I did not do as he did, then I have no honor or excellence. Is that a fair question?
No, I didn't say that, Secretary Roque.
That's what he said, though. That's what he said, and that's why I'm calling you out for that.
Secretary Roque, okay, just to be very clear about this, it was a tweet that I read, and I asked for your reaction if you would denounce it. And then after that...
It's implying that I should follow what Danny Arao says. And where is the basis? Tell your viewers now. Where is the basis that I should follow what Danny Arao says? It's not just you asking for a reaction. You were pursuing. Will you denounce? See? So it's not just a reaction. You wanted me to answer Danny Arao. Why should I? And is that fair on your end?
Okay. Then if you say that, why should you answer it? And if you answered it that way, sir, then I would have to take it as is. It was just a challenge.
Yes, but you're pushing the point.
Well, because...
You're going beyond asking for my reaction.
Sir, okay, it's a challenge.
Because will you denounce it? You said it on record. The TV recorded it.
Yes, that's right.
We have to be fair, no?
I am trying to be fair, Secretary Roque. I was not...
No, you are not. You are not. It's as if I don't agree with Arao, that I have no sense of excellence or honor.
Absolutely not. I never meant that. Please don't think that, Secretary Roque. I would have never meant that.
I can take offense that I have to follow anyone else's advice. No, it's not right.
So just to end this topic, how would you like to end this, sir? This issue on...
I have never experienced being in UP with soldiers or military. Mm. And I'd like to facilitate the discussion between the UP president and the Secretary of National Defense. I'm offering my good offices for them to have this conversation.
All right.
And of course, I think it has to be discussed why a 30-year accord, which has been in place, should be revoked at this point.
Fair enough, sir. Can we move to another topic now? The vaccination program of the government, I believe it was Senator Bongo who said that Secretary Galvez will be speaking to Senate President Tito Sotto about the vaccination program for transparency. Can you share us any details about this? Will it just be SP Sotto, or will this happen prior to Friday's Committee of the Whole meeting at the Senate?
Well, I think to be transparent, the issue was Secretary Galvez was saying because of the Senate hearings, he has lost about 2 weeks worth of negotiations with drug suppliers. So Secretary Galvez, in fact, was saying, could I skip the hearing? No? Because it's very important that I resume my negotiations with the vaccine developers, because otherwise we might run out of supplies. But in fairness to the president, his answer was no, go to the Senate, continue answering questions, continue the way in the manner that you have been answering. And if they become abusive to you verbally, just stand up and leave. And if they cite you in contempt, I will come and fetch you. So that's the context, no? Now, so Secretary Galvez and Secretary Duque, if the Senate will have a hearing this Friday, will be there, but with instruction that if anyone becomes verbally abusive to them, they have the license to stand up and leave.
So to be clear about this, sorry sir, so hindi po sila mag-uusap prior to Friday's Committee of the Whole?
Now, hindi ko po alam. No? Ang alam ko, mayroong mga pag-uusap na mangyayari na informal, of course. This was mentioned by Secretary Galvez in my presidential briefing yesterday. And he says that I think he's of the opinion that everything will turn out okay because all the questions have been answered. No? And that there may have been miscommunication somewhere down the line. No? So that's what I know.
Okay, so yung po bang executive session, pinag-uusapan pa rin ho ba yan? Is that still something that could happen as suggested by Secretary Galvez when we're talking about some issues regarding the vaccine, especially the price?
I think what Secretary Galvez suggested was not just an executive session, but it was also a CDA between the individual senators and the drug companies. No? That's what I heard from his own mouth. No? So, but I think there will be informal discussions, I've heard, and let's see what happens. But what is important is the president did not say that Secretary Galvez should not go to the Senate. He said, yeah, you should continue answering the questions because we have nothing to hide. But certainly, if they start being abusive, just walk out. Did he
feel, or did the president feel that at some point that happened in the past two hearings of the Senate?
Certainly. He could not understand why the demeanor of the senators were apparently bellicose-like, no? They were warlike, no? And of course, there was like already an attitude as if there was corruption going on, no? When it was fact-finding, in fact, no? So the president thought, you know, despite the separation of powers and despite the power of oversight, it does not give the senators the license to be abusive.
We're going to talk about the price. This is something that may be revealed on Friday, but we need to take a very short break. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. Spokes, we're talking about the price, which of course has become very controversial. You have said, I believe last Sunday, that the price of the Sinovac vaccine is about 650 pesos. Yes. Sabi po ni Secretary Galvez, hindi tataas sa 700 pesos. Ganun po yung price range that is coming out from both you and Sec Galvez. Sa Senado ho ba, is this something that will need to be confirmed by Secretary Galvez? Because apparently, to the senators, hindi nga po lumalabas yung presyo because of the CDA.
Well, that's something that the senators will have to ask for themselves. No? But I think they will have to be content with a range, but because that's what we give. Now, in the spirit of transparency, we gave a range, And of course, I don't think this violates the CDA, but for Secretary Galvez to say the exact price would be a violation of that CDA.